So, Osombie. Osombie, yes, with the Z flipped so it makes an S sound, is an extremely politically correct film, especially to be released in this day and age where everybody gets offended by everything, and especially in the day and age where it was released in 2012, which is basically in a fictional universe, Osama bin Laden had this notorious plan to zombify himself. He had a virus which he would use on himself and on his people, I guess I would say. Um, right before he was killed, to turn him into the Walking Dead and continue creating havoc. So there you have Osombie, and you have the best B movie glory you can have. It's hilarious. You have Osama bin Laden in a zombie movie. Oh, what can I say without what can I say while being politically correct? I don't friggin' know, and I'm just reviewing the film. I thought the film was fun. Okay, sue me. Um, so Osami has a slew of characters, which basically are nicknamed. You got Chapo, who's your stereotypical Spanish Mexican guy, who's always cracking jokes. As a matter of fact, speaking of jokes, you got the character named Joker, who always cracks jokes five or every 5 or 10 scenes. He's the comical relief, you call him. And of course, they're always cheesy jokes. So he's the guy who just cracks jokes. The story revolves around this female character named Dusty, who runs into the team, or the SWAT team basically, that was signed in to go to Afghanistan. Osama's dead, bin Laden's dead, he's been taken out, and there's this virus, this zombie virus that is, they want to keep it maintained basically, like, because nobody knows about it, nobody in the world knows about it. It's in this small little, this village in Afghanistan. Nobody knows about this virus. It's turning people into maniacs and making people rabid, basically. It's a rabid kind of take on, your typical rabid 2012 zombie films where I'm pretty sure they definitely are running zombies, yeah. But it's good. So this woman named Dusty runs into this team that's there to eliminate the virus. Her brother is named Derek, and he's a total conspiracy nut. So he believes that Osama bin Laden's alive. The United States is covering everything up. You shouldn't trust this team that's wiping out this zombie virus, which, why would you not think that there's conspiracy going on if there's a zombie virus in the world going on, but he totally is sold that, Osama bin Laden's alive. He had this master plan all along, and, the United States of America is coming up with this entire bullshit, scandal, lies, deception, whatever. Yeah, not controversial at all. Just, gonna throw that out there. Not a controversial movie. This won't piss anybody off. I'm being sarcastic. Yeah. So, it's B-movie glory. The CGI is absolutely terrible. But the directing and surprisingly cinematography, like the cinematography, is really good. I really dug the cinematography and a lot of ways that scenes were shot, visually. The story is, like I said, it's B movie glory. If you don't like B movies, you're not gonna like this film. If you love B movies, you probably will love this film. So you gotta kind of come into it knowing what you're into. That's as basic as I can basically put it. There's a lot to be enjoyed with what the director. Let me get his name, unless I mentioned it already. John Lyde. John Lyde directed this film. Again, he's not a director that I know very well, but he puts a lot of fun into the film, and it's like I said, it's a film to be enjoyed for sure. There's a scene which I'm not gonna say, a lot of people are gonna shoot me for this, but I'm not gonna say it's like a Tarantino film, but there's a scene that involves dialogue that reminded me of the kind of dialogue that Tarantino would put into his film, where two characters, including Chapo, the Spanish guy, and I believe DC, his name is, talking about Beanie Babies, and there's this whole segment about Beanie Babies and their past. Their lovers back home and their sisters, and they're talking about, they're having this conversation about Beanie Babies, and it's so random and so it has nothing to do with the story or the plot, but it's delivered in a funny, quirky, and enjoyable manner. Like, you're not like, oh my god, can we get out with the Beanie Babies? You're kind of like, okay, I'm kind of intrigued. So that's where I compare it kind of to a Tarantino-esque, but no writer can compare to Tarantino, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. There's again a lot of controversial stuff that is brought up, but a lot of unique stuff too, because they do bring a few things in this zombie film that is kind of unique to zombie films, which doesn't usually get talked about too much. One, there's a huge amount of poop jokes in this movie. I mean, the director really likes poop jokes, okay? And it's mentioned that why don't zombies poop when they're eating so many humans and flesh, they never poop. It's never mentioned in zombie films. This film asks that question. I really like it for that. There's a plot point where they bring in Osama bin Laden's plan was to create, instead of suicide bombers, he wanted to make suicide zombies, where somebody, after they've, with this virus and stuff, they've turned into zombies, and they can go on and even there's a plot point where some people even willingly wanted to turn into zombies and inject themselves with this virus so they can become man-eaters and serve out the Taliban's plan in the name of Allah. Again, extremely controversial, but don't shoot the messenger. I didn't write this. Okay, just saying, I did not write this film, but can I enjoy it? Oh yeah, absolutely. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious, and it's fun, and it's entertainment. Like, why do people get so offended over shit like this? It's a fucking B movie. Like, who cares? But yeah, that's the plot point in it, and that's another thing that they bring up, which you don't really see in other films similar. But anyway, there's a character named Chip, and he's the badass, best looking guy in the team, the SWAT team or whatever, and he never has a shirt on. So, you know, obviously that's on purpose because he never has. At every moment, he's taking off his shirt, and he's jacked with like a 6 pack. Well, okay, so he's the stereotypical obvious heartthrob of the team, and it's just so blatantly obvious that it's hilarious, and it's it's fantastic. Um, so yeah, essentially, the girl Dusty is looking for her brother Derek, as I mentioned, and she joins up with this team, and then she joins up with her brother as well, and he's this huge conspiracy theorist who the team believes that Osama's dead, but this guy believes that Osama's definitely alive and he's definitely a zombie, and, or there's some big conspiracy theory, and it proves he's right. So the crazy guy is right, and it just develops into this perfect B movie ending where you got cheesy dialogue, you got cheesy story, and it's just fun. It's so much fun. I remember watching it in 2012 when it came out, and again I wanted to revisit it because I came across it. I decided to buy it and I wanted to revisit to see if it lived up to everything that I remember it being. And again with the cinematography, if a film, it doesn't matter how bad a film is. If a film can entertain me, then I'm sold. That's what film is supposed to do anyway. If I'm entertained, I'm sold. And if it, you know, out of 10 things, if 8 things are bad and 2 things are good, I'll still appreciate the film for those 2 things. That's how I go into cinema. And the cinematography in here is quite damn good. One of the characters, what's her name? Shit. Dusty. No, Dusty's the tomboy. Tomboy. Yes, her name is Tomboy because she really is a tomboy, and they call her Tomboy. Again, all these people have nicknames. So she's called Tomboy, and she carries around a sword, a katana, and that's her weapon that she uses all the time. And there's this beautiful scene where she's doing this martial arts extravaganza, whipping her sword around over her head, you know, doing jumps and shit, and like right in front of like the sunset, and it just looks gorgeous. It doesn't really fit in the film, but it looks gorgeous, and it's great to look at, and that's enough to sell a film to me. That's enough. If you care enough to put certain details like that into a film, that's completely enough for me. And and I, you know, it's a attribute to the film that I'll talk about because it's something that I notice and I appreciate. So the brother Derek, the conspiracy theorist, he ends up, because he all along he wants to kill Osama bin Laden himself. He wants to kill Osama bin Laden himself so he can like live in peace, basically. And he does so, okay, with a rocket launcher, right where Osama is like right here, like in front of him, and he's like he says some cheesy ass line, and he launches this rocket, and the rocket launches right to the guy like not even 5 feet away from him, and the whole cave is in flames, like the whole cave, the whole area is in flames. Okay, and then 2 minutes pass in the movie and he's alive. He's just like, yeah, I lived. I killed Osama. Osama bin Laden's dead. Yeah, I just rocket launcher that guy's ass. Right in front of me. Not a scratch. You know, B movies. You, you take them for what they are. And that's exactly what they are. entertaining, mindless, shut your brain off, fun. That's all I gotta say. Cheers.